What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Now, we weren't kidding around the last time when we said that the last week of February was going to be a big week in wrestling, and it looks like the news keeps getting bigger, so let's get down to business. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including the possibility of Goldberg going into Mania as champion, who is the Exalted One, Samoa Joe is on thin ice with WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin not being a fan of weed, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into our first story, as it looks like WWE has new plans and it involves Goldberg going into Mania as champion. Yeah, it looks like there's more talk of Bill Goldberg competing at this year's WrestleMania, and not only competing, but heading into Mania as reigning Universal Champion. Well, that's at least according to Dave Meltzer and his follow-ups from yesterday's news, where it's been reported that WWE had made a number of changes to the WrestleMania card. Meltzer has been informed by his sources that the planned Bray Wyatt vs Roman Reigns and John Cena vs Elias matches have been scrapped. If Wyatt isn't going to face Roman Reigns anymore, the company might go ahead with the plans of having Goldberg defeat Wyatt at Super Showdown and then head into Mania with the belt to face Roman Reigns. Personally, a Goldberg vs Roman Reigns match doesn't sound too bad, but why on earth has WWE even considered to take the belt off Wyatt? They've been building him up ever since SummerSlam as this unstoppable monster, and now a semi-retired wrestler is going to end this unrelenting force? Yeah, we get it, Wyatt can't be impervious to all pain and eventually someone has to take him down, but Goldberg? Nah. Again, like we said before, our plans involving Mania would see John Cena versus The Fiend for the Universal title, and Goldberg versus Reigns with no title on the line. Of course, Cena wouldn't win the belt, he'd put over Wyatt, and by doing so, he'd pass the proverbial torch. But whatever the case, whether Goldberg may or may not head into Mania as champion, it is guaranteed he's going to be booked for the show. As we've noted before, Vinnie Mac likes to load up Mania even though the show partially sells itself as the wrestling equivalent of the Super Bowl. Next up, who is the Exalted One? Now, whilst we're on the topic of big questions and rumors, who is the Exalted One, the mysterious leader of AEW faction, the Dark Order? Recently, the Dark Order's Evil Uno tweeted, "Everybody lives, everybody dies. The Exalted One is near. The Exalted One arrives." AEW has been building the mystery up and may have teased the leader's identity last week on Dynamite when Raven was seen watching the show. Then again, they may have not. PW Insider recently noted, the Raven appearance looks to have been a red herring to make viewers think he is the Exalted One when there are plans to go in another direction. Of course, many fans believe the Exalted One is going to be revealed as Matt Hardy. As cool as it might be for Raven, who's no stranger to running kayfabe cults to run the group, Matt Hardy seems like a better candidate since he'll be able to work a full-time schedule. One interesting theory, and this comes from user ngilco on R2 Circle, is that the Exalted One is Diamond Dallas Page. It's a very well done post that points a lot of things towards why DDP would be the Exalted One's leader. We'll leave the link to the post in the description down below. Next up, Johnny Gargano defends NXT. The stars of NXT are proud of the work they do, and Johnny Gargano is the latest star from the Black and Gold brand to defend it. During a chat with TMZ Sports, the NXT Triple Crown champion fired off, "Anybody out there that uses the words main roster when talking about Raw and SmackDown, how about you watch the show on Wednesday night? You'll see the real main roster. You'll see the best wrestling show on the planet. You'll see the best locker room on the planet led by me." As much as we respect Johnny Gargano for praising his brand, we believe NXT is best when it starts doing Raw or SmackDown-like numbers in the ratings. Until then, the show, despite its talented workers, has a long way to go in dispelling most fans' perceptions that it's anything other than a developmental territory. Next up, Samoa Joe is on thin ice. Now, fans were saddened to hear of Samoa Joe's recent concussion apparently suffered during a WWE commercial shoot. As bad as Joe's second concussion is, it could have a negative impact on his future in the WWE. During an episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer observed, "Now here's the thing, now we're on risky ground because now we've had 2 concussions in a short period of time, and that's when it becomes really concerning. The biggest concern, of course, is Joe's physical health. People react differently to concussions, but 2 concussions in a short amount of time as well as who knows how many before, could impact the Samoan submission machine now and down the road. It could be time for Joe to retire regardless of any impact on his push. Thankfully, he did a great job as an announcer and could easily transition into the role. Next up, Stone Cold Steve Austin isn't a fan of weed. Now, you never know what you're going to learn about a wrestler during a podcast, as fans learned when they tuned into the Steve Austin show. During his podcast, the Texas Rattlesnake regaled his audience with how he tried marijuana a few times but never enjoyed it. Austin discussed how it slowed him down too much, and judging from an anecdote he shared, it just isn't for him. There was one time when I was riding with a Hall of Famer and we stopped at a Burger King drive-thru and we got the famous giggles. And we sat there at the damn ordering speaker for like 8 minutes. Man, we were laughing our asses off and we never got the hamburgers. We finally just took off and it was great. If recent stories are correct, Stone Cold is in the minority as many WWE superstars reportedly use marijuana either for recreational and/or medical reasons. Since WWE superstars are only fined if they test positive, it doesn't seem to be a big deal. Rumor has it the NFL is going to remove marijuana from its prohibited substances during the regular season. Do you think the WWE should ignore the use of marijuana? Be sure to leave your comments down below. Next up, Dave Meltzer's dubious claim. Now, you'll likely recall that Meltzer reported that ESPN and WWE were in talks, with everyone's favorite Dave speculating it could be regarding the WWE licensing the streaming rights to its pay-per-views. Him revealing the news resulted in WWE stock getting a big bump. Twitter user Meltzer said what monitors all things Meltzer and updated fans on the odd claim from Dave. Dave Meltzer made the WWE $194 million today. Stock rose $2.49 per share based on that report. I made the company $194 million today. More than all those talents who can't read English and taught to hate me will all combine for their entire careers. The WWE stock had dropped significantly and some see its uptick after Meltzer's report as mere coincidence. Indeed, Ringside News reported, "Some idiot riding out of a garage isn't influencing the market," from our connect on Wall Street. Do you think Meltzer's report had anything to do with the WWE stock increasing? Next up, Tony Schiavone speculates on AEW competing against WWE. Tony Schiavone has been around the wrestling business since the early 1980s, calling the action for Jim Crockett Promotions, the WWF, WCW, and now All Elite Wrestling. Recently, he spoke to Sportskeeda about AEW and its chances for overtaking the WWE. I don't know if AEW will ever be as big as the WWE with a network and the reach they have overseas, because WWE has been around for a long time. But I'd like to see it be a viable part of wrestling. I'd like it to be a place where very good professional wrestlers, both men and women, can come and make a good living and be treated fairly. That's what I'd like AEW to be. Schiavone seems to have a realistic take on things, and AEW is off to a good start, but it has a long way to go before it's in the same category as WWE in terms of size and scope of their business. Next up, Reby Hardy shoots on WWE storyline. The Broken One's wife never ceases to amaze us, as she shoots on just about everything her husband does in wrestling. If it's not throwing bombs at her brother-in-law's wife Beth Hardy, it's calling out Vince McMahon on storyline ideas, or worse yet, showing no respect for the passing of Ashley Mazzaro. Well, even though it's been rumored Matt Hardy has just made his last appearance in WWE as his contract is coming to an end on 1st March, Reby just can't help herself by getting some more digs in towards WWE. Matt Hardy had been recently sporting a neck brace on television after the vicious attack from Randy Orton and also took a picture in a wheelchair on social media to keep up kayfabe. When Hardy posted a picture with his family, a user asked in the comments below where his neck brace was. Reby replied, "In the f***ing trash along with that storyline." Not sure which trash storyline that was, because the one involving him now was the highest rated segment on Raw. Now, you might not agree, but Reby has demonstrated herself to be one of the most toxic people in the wrestling industry today. Matt must have a lot of patience. Speaking of Matt Hardy, he posted a teaser on his new Free the Delete episode on Instagram, and AEW heavyweight champion Chris Jericho commented, "Stay at home, Matt," with a thumbs down emoji. Matt fired back saying, "I'll go or stay wherever I want. Worry about yourself." Is this a shoot, or is there more to it than that? And our final story, Elimination Chamber, No Way Jose. Liv Morgan recently tweeted her excitement at being in the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber match, saying, "I want the chamber." Fellow Raw superstar No Way Jose apparently would like it also, although we doubt if he's talking about the women's version. He tweeted, "Yeah, me too. Is Jose upset with his push? It's hard to say for sure, but he certainly hasn't been doing anything on Raw other than counting the lights." But there you have it, guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, check out the latest episode of The Final Bell, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.